So there was an amazing study that talks about how there was women who had endometriosis who decided to go gluten-free, and how 75% of them experienced a reduction in pain from doing it. I want to explore this with you and why cutting out gluten may be the best thing you ever do to alleviate some of the symptoms with endo. The first thing to understand is what is gluten, because sometimes maybe we don't truly understand what gluten is. Gluten is actually a broad term describing a type of protein that is found within wheat. So wheat is a type of grain that is grown to make breads and bread-like products like muffins or bagels or cookies, most of the things that we know that contain wheat. The actual protein is called Glyden, and it is this protein that the body might struggle to break down correctly. So you need certain enzymes to help break down different types of protein in the body. And if we don't have enough of those enzymes, then we can't break down that protein, which means it's not broken down into little pieces, but comes down into the gut as a solid piece. And when that happens, it causes almost like a huge boulder going through your digestive tract. It's sticky like cement, and that bread is sticky like cement. And so that can really damage that intestinal lining that is very sensitive. Now, when that intestinal lining gets damaged, the little microvilli, so there's little hairs that sit on the outside, on the inside of your digestive tract, designed to seek out nutrients from your food. When they get damaged, it can create an inflammatory response in that gut lining. When that happens, inflammation causes things to expand. And so this is where you may develop a condition called gut dysbiosis. The lining expands and that inflammation causes a reaction by your body. And that is often an immune reaction. Now, this can often happen with gluten to some degree. And what we've noticed with endo is there's often a correlation between digestive issues and endometriosis. So many women with endo will have digestive issues, and that's why the diagnosis process can often be very lengthy, because it feels very similar, the symptoms are very similar, and so there's this overlap between having IBS type symptoms and endo. But what I found is that the two are often correlated and they often work together. And gluten, unfortunately, is a contributor to those digestive imbalances. The other reason why we want to avoid gluten and wheat products is actually because wheat has shifted. The production of wheat has changed. Firstly, they've changed the actual wheat plant. So over years and years, they've developed the wheat plant to produce far more of the actual grain size, which means that there's far more of this particular protein, the Glyden, inside of that wheat. And that means that there's more of it, but also it's far more sticky, because they kind of want that when they make bread, so that the bread can rise easier and things like that, which means there's far more of it. So that's the second thing. The other thing is that wheat, being a mass-produced product that is used massively throughout, our culture, and it's generally something people eat a lot of, you can imagine that there's huge production of wheat. When there's huge production, when there's fields and fields and fields of wheat, well, you're going to get a lot more pests. And so wheat is one of the most highly sprayed forms of grains out there. And particularly, it is sprayed with something called glyphosate. Glyphosate is something that's found in Roundup. Here's where it gets really interesting. So dioxin is another one of those ingredients that's found in Roundup. There is an exact study that shows dioxin triggered endometriosis in monkeys, particularly rhesus monkeys. So I will share those links below for you, the studies of this. But essentially, dioxin directly triggered endometriosis in these monkeys. So you can see that there's lots of reasons why you want to be cutting out gluten from your diet. Gluten is naturally something that's going to trigger an inflammatory response in the gut, but also contains the chemicals that have directly been correlated to development of endometriosis. Now you might be wondering, well, how do I cut out gluten? It's like in everything. It's like I eat it all the time. I don't even know where to start. Well, we have a brand new program that's being launched on how to eat to really support your body with endometriosis. It's really shifting your focus towards nourishing the body. So if you want to register your interest for that, check out the details below. The first thing I encourage you to do is to look at how often are you eating gluten-containing foods, and can you make a better choice at that time. So if you're having gluten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe it's just a case of cutting out one of those. Can you replace one of those meals with something that doesn't contain gluten? And start there, and then gradually try to find either replacements or preferably shift your focus towards more nourishing foods that don't contain gluten or even gluten-free products, because hey, let's face it, they're a lot more expensive. There is a way to eat to support your body, and reducing gluten is a big part of reducing endo pain. As I said, 75% of women experience a reduction in pain just by following a gluten-free diet. So it is something I highly recommend to all of my clients who are struggling with endometriosis. If you want to know more, check out the details below, and I look forward to supporting you in your endometriosis journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.